a very successful drug trafficking family who is in peril of losing their lives.
Aha, it's Lil Baby.
Welcome to Conversations with Chai. I'm your host, Ram Chaudhary, aka Lil Baby Ram, and today I have the legendary Poorna Jagannathan. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I know this is going to sound like an insane question, but you've had such a long, illustrious career. Do you look at Deli Boys as like one of the stamps on your career?
Oh, 100%. It's the most fun set I've ever been on. It's the most slapstick physical comedy. It's the first time I've done such slapstick physical comedy on film. I did it in like theater sometimes, but this is like what you see on the show is our chemistry on and off the screen. Like it's just unruly, undignified, and very stupid.
I could just tell that the cast enjoyed making this.
We thoroughly, too much, actually, enjoyed making it.
When you first got approached about this project, what were your first initial thoughts? Were you immediately like, hey, I'm jumping towards this?
I did. Yeah, I just finished Never Have I Ever a month before I got this script, and I was really, not only the script, I was just hesitant to sign on to anything else. I just needed a break. And this script happened, and the comedy is really that of opposites, right? The two brothers are opposites of each other. The humor comes from placing something really sweet with, like, Lucky Auntie will be really sweet to the boys and very nurturing, and then she'll slap them in the next second, So that's where the comedy comes from.
You've obviously had such a long career in Hollywood, and you've played such varied characters, but for you, this has to be the most different character that you've played,
it really
right?
is.
Like, it is the Indian auntie, but it's such a...
It's the gangster auntie.
It's such a gangster, exaggerated version of it.
Yeah.
Talk about how you kind of approach the process of getting into this specific character.
I really looked at a lot of references. I try when I build a character to ground it in something I see. So a lot of times I'm watching documentaries. So I did I watched The Sopranos because I'd never seen it before.
First Sopranos watch?
Yes. Isn't that crazy?
Amazing.
When Sopranos came out, I couldn't afford. I don't
HBO.
think I could afford TV.
Yeah.
I don't think it went to even if I had TV, I don't think I could have afforded HBO was out of my price range for sure. So I never saw it, and then it went, and then it got on streaming finally. So I watched it, and it's fantastic. So I went to Sopranos, and I did Barry, I did all the James Bond movies. And then I go into the documentary space a lot, and so I watch there was all these even looking at Indian female gangsters. There's or even Fool and Baby, and looking at stuff like that. But I landed on Housewives of Orange County for my main inspiration.
That's such a crazy pull.
Yeah.
I just want to talk to you about how much it means to you to have a show like this on Hulu getting such a push. You've had such a long storied career, but when you started to where
oh my God,
it is, could a show like this exist 20 years ago?
It just simply could not have.
It couldn't.
And I don't even think anyone thought it could have. The creator, Abdullah Saeed, didn't think the show could be made, didn't approach it that way. He wrote a show so that he could get a staff writing job. This is writers have to write samples. So he thought this Deli Boys was his sample script. He didn't even think of it as a real script. And so, Jenny Connor read it, and she said, and Jenny, our producers, Nora and Jenny, are just visionaries, really. And they're the real Lucky Aunties, by the way. They are just badass, just fantastic women. They looked at it and they said, I see something here. And I really don't think I could have imagined that playing a character like this would be in my cards.
What does it mean to you to play a character like this, right? We've now gone past, obviously, we think about South Asian representation in movies and art and film, and how much it's progressed in the West. Obviously, just how much we stereotypical roles to now playing such a role that really would never have existed.
Yeah, it is. Our story is still very much in Deli Boys, but it's manifested in the way we eat with our hands, in the way that we pray, in the way that I feed, or in the way that we curse and the way we talk. You know what I mean? It's manifested that way, but it's not the plot of Deli Boys. Who we are is the undercurrent of Deli Boys and shows up. But you know, the plot is we're a very successful drug trafficking family who is in peril of losing their lives because the power dynamics have shifted. Like that story, I don't want to say it's universal, but it's something that everyone from every background can laugh at, right? It's an outright comedy, and Abdullah Saeed didn't write this whole thing to be like an exploration of identity. He just wanted people to laugh. So you get bounced from one joke to another in Deli Boys, and that is the ride.
But like, I think that's important, right? That Abdullah did not write this to be just like, hey, this is representation, right? Like, it's, hey, this is an incredible piece of art. Of course, the cast is all brown, right? So that is going to be an underlayer, but it's not the reason you're watching it, right? You're watching it because it's like a great piece of TV.
I think both. I think the fact that it's brown makes it that much more interesting and funnier and new. The dynamics of like an Italian mob family have really been explored over the years, and it's particular in the way they love or eat and get together, and you know, and the dynamics of a Pakistani mob family are different, and it's funny.
I can just tell that you guys had so much
Too much
fun, right?
It was too much.
And
I thought at some point we were gonna, like, the producers were gonna tap my shoulder and be like, okay, just take it easy. Just you know, everyone just calm down. They never did.
But that's how it should exude to like the audience, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is like the most like excited
Yeah.
part of for you now? Everyone's gonna get to watch this now finally, right? What is like the most exciting part for you to have audiences watch and consume?
I just think, like, I'm a suck. I remember the first time I laughed a lot watching something was when I was probably 10, and I saw Airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember seeing Airplane?
Mm-hmm.
I just remember seeing it, but I remember me laughing. There's a scene where this woman is getting hysterical, and the woman slaps her. The air hostess slaps her for her to come to, and then everyone just lines up to like beat her up, like with all different instruments. And I just remember laughing so hard, and I'd never laughed like that watching something. And so, you know, I've been very, very lucky to be in shows where it's always entertaining, but there is such a deeper meaning to it. Like The Night Of really shone a light on Islamophobia, right? Never Have I Ever was a coming of age story that was universal, but I got to play an immigrant mother, which was, you know, who just struggling with grief and struggling with race. It was really important. Deli Boys, it's none of that. It's just purely for laughs. There's no message about identity in there. You're not gonna get closer. You're not gonna go call your mom after Deli Boys. Like, it's just for laughs.
Do you feel that though? Like, do you feel like your position in like Hollywood, right, and like the career that you've had? Do you feel a pressure being who you are?
Nope.
No. Like, I feel like you've played such like roles that obviously I told my friends that I was doing this, right, and they're all excited for me, right? But you've played such roles that like have stuck into people's minds and hearts, right? Like, you're so distinguishably you. That doesn't feel like any pressure to you in any of the roles, whether it be Deli Boys, Night Of, Never Have I Ever?
No.
You're a pro.
No, not at all. I am very focused on, does this script move me? Do I laugh? Do I relate? Do I like the writing? And that's it. I feel no pressure to like follow Never Have I Ever or The Night Of with an equally like another story that is, you know, like heartwarming. Like, I have none of that pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I am a huge follower of the writing. If the writing is not gonna, if I look at a script and I'm like the lead of the script and it's like amazing, but the writing isn't quite there, which has happened recently. I got asked to join a script in a TV show where I was the lead, and it was an exciting character, an exciting premise, a novel and whatever, but the writing just wasn't cooked yet, and I turned it down. Because if the writing is not cooked, as an actor, I can't save it. That's just who I am.
It's because I can tell just based off of our short conversation and also like the roles you played and like how you've played them, that you are truly a lover of film right?
Of good writing.
Of good writing.
Yes.
And like that, but again, like I think there's like a difference between like somebody who just like wants to be an actor or an actress for like, oh, like whatever it comes with, like the fame, money, right? But then there's also folks that like love great writing and great film. Where does that kind of stem from for you?
I used to, I haven't read a book in about a year now, but I used to love reading, just love reading. And then when I became an actor in my 30s, my training was in theater. So we'd perform every week, but we'd be reading a new play a week, right? And so when you're performing a play in class, I was just in classes, you have to get to know the writing really well. And you can tell when the writing is not working, you don't work. So quickly, I learned that lesson very early on. And I have taken roles where there was a really big star attached, and the writing was okay, and it's really backfired.
You feel like the writing has a direct impact, of course, right, on the final.
I can't even say direct. I am saying all. Like it's all of it for me. And there are some actors who will come in and elevate the writing.
Mm-hmm.
I am not that actor.
But you know, Deli Boys, like of course, like you mentioned, like how like you're having fun on set, right? So like the writing is essentially like infrastructure, but then how you guys kind of take those roles and make them your own is like a big part of it, no?
No. How much fun you have, of course. Like that's just dynamic on set. Abdullah Saeed is so chilled out. Everyone's a bit of a prankster like that. That's the atmosphere on set. And the fact that we're allowed to improv. Like, you asked that credenza line is really funny, but that's because in a read-through, Sagar was like, what is a credenza? And people thought that was funny, do you know what I mean? So a lot of like, there's a scene where I slapped both the boys at once, and that's how I got slapped in school. Like, the teacher was so lazy, she would just line us up, put her hand out, and just slap us like that. Do you know what I mean? So just like you're pulling from your life and you're pulling from different things, but I'm telling you, that's it's more than the writing is more than the bones. For me, it's everything.
That's the theater background, right?
Probably.
Definitely like leans into that, right?
Probably.
And again, like I think that it's so important to have somebody like you that's just kind of like, I don't know if you look at yourself as paving the way, but you truly you don't.
I really don't.
I can tell just based on how chill you are, but like I think for a lot of folks
really
you are.
don't.
You're such a recognizable
That's sweet.
actress, right? Like you've played roles that, if I'm a South Asian man or a South Asian woman and I want to be an actor or an actress, right? And I'm 16 right now.
Yeah.
I can only name so many people, right? In Western media at least, right? That have done such roles, right?
Yeah.
And roles, like when we say like mainstream roles, like.
But it's not like I'm the one going and choosing these, like it's not working like that.
No.
It's like they're being written and someone would be stepping into those roles. I was just lucky enough to be at the right time, right place. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Lucky and talent. I think, like when you have visible folks to even, if I'm a writer and I'm coming in and I'm like, hey, I'm writing this, like if I'm Abdullah and I'm writing Deli Boys, I need to have the actors and the actresses to fill this world that I'm creating.
100%. One of the most amazing things about Deli Boys is that Abdullah saw me and saw the roles I was playing and was like, what if what if Poorna just like was a crazy gun-toting gangster? Like that's his humor, right? He sees a character who plays like a mother and nurture whatever. He's like, what if I put a gun in her hands? But that's how he thinks. So lucky I was lucky enough for Abdullah to have written Lucky for me. And I feel it. I feel it was written for me.
You are incredible. You are incredible, and I'm so excited to watch. I'm so excited for this to be
I am so excited
streamed.
for everyone and you to watch. It's so ridiculously stupid. It's my favorite.
I can just I've only seen the trailer right now because we're recording this before the release. It's just so out of it. Like we keep talking about the credenza line, right? I'm watching the trailer with my roommates, and like we're dying at that. We're just like, oh my god! Like I don't know how this comes up in the show, but when it comes up, like it's going to be so.
She's asking him to kill someone, and he's like, I was like, get the gun, the credenza, and he's like. I was like, what part of this are you not understanding? He's like, wait, what is credenza? Like, that's how dumb these two boys are, right? It's just dealing with the comedy of me having to deal with these two idiots. But our life depends on it. The stakes are so high, and you have these two idiots who we're all dependent on somehow. So it's so funny.
Asking about the cast.
Yeah.
Obviously, like press and like getting the you've said it, how much fun you've had on
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah.
Talk about the cast a little bit, right? Because obviously, like it's.
I mean, I wish that we're here. We have the most fun together. We're cracking up. It is. I mean, the cast is unbelievable, but I have to say, Sagar and Asif are two very, very special humans. They lead the cast, and there is something. I mean, Sagar is one of the smartest people I know, and he doesn't come across as smart as he is. Let me tell you that much. But like, you give him a Rubik's cube, or you give him a math thing, or he's so smart, and it comes out of nowhere. Like, you just don't think he is that tuned into the world of mathematics as he really is. It's very cool. And Asif is the most present person I've met because he is a stand-up comedian, right? He was like, you can't manufacture that moment again on like as a comedy because it would never work. The fact that it was happening in real time, and you could, he's able to be present all the time to the absurdity of what's not only the script, but what's happening around him. And I learn from that every day. I might be the most unpresent person you have ever met. And Asif was like, even at the premiere, I get very overwhelmed when there's a lot of people. It's just my nature. I'm like, I kind of withdraw. Asif could just stay in it and take it in and take everyone in and manage, everyone's emotions. And I have a hard time doing that. And so both of them, Sagar is like kindest, sweetest, funniest, both of them are very special human beings. And they really set the tone. This was the first set that truly has been not without a hierarchy, truly. A lot of sets will say that, but they don't mean that. But Deli Boys was the most democratic set I've been on.
I think that's why Deli Boys is going to be incredible. I think like anytime we hear those things, and even when we don't hear those things, it truly shows up on camera.
I hope so.
And like when the cast is so passionate about the project and had so much fun with the project, you can tell that the finished product is going to be.
I hope so. I've been part of projects where I've laughed a lot and did not turn out well. So, but there's like magic dust on this project, so I hope so.
Absolutely. Thank you again for
Thank
doing this.
you.
We end.
I still haven't gotten my chai.
I will go grab your chai right now, I swear.